Well, it's official. The Rabbids are teaming up with Mario and friends for a brand new adventure, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
And to find out more about this game, I traveled all around the world and I interviewed a lot of different people, like this guy.
But before I got here, I had to go to where it all began, in Italy.
Yup, that Italy.
I'm here to visit Ubisoft Milan, the team that, along with Ubisoft Paris, has been pouring their hearts into Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Nobody was believing it, not even me.
The first reaction was maybe Mamma Mia. Being Italian, it was clearly the first thing we said.
I'm waiting for the game to come out because
Where did the idea for this begin?
This is Davide Soliani, the game's creative director.
Let's say that we were experimenting with the rabbits and we were trying to find the perfect match for them. So we started to work on a crazy combination of Mario and Rabbids, like two completely separate worlds colliding and then uniting together. The first time we presented this game to Mr. Miyamoto, it was in Los Angeles, E3.
でその結果これでどうだってプレゼンを受けたんですけども、とても新しい感じがするし、それからマリオが今やる予定のないジャンルを抑えてるし、でとても分かりやすそうなので、とても印象良かったです。
And all of a sudden, I was not a player anymore. I was a game developer speaking to Mr. Miyamoto, presenting my own game to him. It was like, oh my God. It's a moment that defines you.
ダビデさんが一生懸命ものすごく一生懸命説明してくれて、その一生懸命さにも結構惚れ込んで、これなんとかなるから考えましょうというふうに即その場で決まりました。
Once the pitch was approved, it was time to start the real work of putting these two worlds together to make something new.
It may seem odd and weird at the beginning. What? The rabbits in the Mushroom Kingdom? Do they work together? They do work together, don't they?
They do. In practice, you see that they have this slapstick kind of action. They communicate a lot with their body, and in the end, they really work together. They get along together well, I think.
yeah, Mr. Miyamoto was very clear from the start, since there are already many Mario games, that we needed to find something very new for the player, something very surprising, and that could balance, the crazy and chaotic world of the rabbits with the beautiful world that Mr. Miyamoto has created through the years with Mario.
だからマリオの純正なアクションの感じとラビッツの何をするか分かんないっていうふざけたことがうまく噛み合った感じがします。
In Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, you and your unlikely team of heroes explore the mixed-up Mushroom Kingdom, collecting coins, seeking out hidden treasures, and solving puzzles of all shapes and sizes. Your intrepid crew is trying to set things right again, but you won't be able to do so without a fight. In combat, you and the enemy team take turns maneuvering around the battlefield, attacking each other with ranged and melee weapons, and using special abilities to try to gain an edge. You need to make clever use of the environment and play to your hero's individual strengths as you fight your way through each mixed-up world. From the rabbit-shaped pipes to the diverse array of weapons, your journey is chock full of creative, colorful, and comical designs that are a testament to how hard the artistic team has worked to make two great looks look good together.
We have to catch and grab the atmosphere, the poetry that Nintendo uses in all the entire games. So we start thinking to the colors, the shapes. At the same time, from the rabbit world, we decided to keep the craziness that the rabbits create. We take something from the Nintendo, the Piranha, and something from the rabbits, the white rabbit itself. The result is an enemy completely new that mixes the aspect of the both. The designer of the piranha plant represents the pillar of what we have done for all the other aspects in the game.
It's easy to see how these colorful characters complement each other, but putting them down on paper is one thing. Bringing them to life with animation is another.
You have to make everything understandable through their movement. That's an animator's dream. All our choices, we always try to push the humor in every way we could. So between two ideas, the one that always won was the most funny one.
We did everything from scratch, basically. So it's our game.
But it's not just Ubisoft Milan who's been pouring their hearts into helping these two iconic franchises come together. To talk with the rest of the animators, designers, engineers, and producers on the project, I flew to Paris.
That Paris.
Where they told us not to use accordion music in this video. Much better. Now that I knew more about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I was curious to learn how designing it to launch on the Nintendo Switch influenced how the game took shape.
We wanted to be in line with what Nintendo Switch is today, which is a platform on the go. So we decided to go for a very deep and long experience, but set up in a very different way. We wanted to have 10 to 15 minutes gameplay and fights that you can have and then pause and then come back again. We had the opportunity to work with this team on making sure that it's on the same level of what Mario fans are expecting, for instance, visually, so in terms of animation, in terms of sound, in terms of how even Mario behaves in the game.
やっぱりUBI の人たちが、マリオのことをよく分かってくれてる、そこの彼らの理解と新しい取り組みがうまく新しいアイデアにつながっていった感じがしますね。
In fact, we try to make a good balance between Nintendo sounds, Rabbids sounds, and the something more we wanted to add to the game that creates the real aesthetic and design for the audio of this game.
They were really happy to see that we wanted to add something, a twist. You know, it's a Ubisoft game.
だから新しいチャレンジをすること、そのユニークなハードでユニークなゲームを作るってことに対してすごく理解があって、割といつも我々が新しいチャレンジのハードにチャレンジするときにはいつも協力的に付き合ってもらえたんですね。
There's a lot more to discover about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and we've got a lot more in store in the coming months. For more stories and videos on Ubisoft's best and brightest, subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit us at the Ubiblog.
Mario is facing an enemy that for the very first time he doesn't really think that he can defeat alone. It's something unusual for the Nintendo and especially Mario universe.
You may have seen a tiny, weird little character called Spawny. This is a key character because he wears a visor, and by way of this visor, he created this huge mesh.
The visor was a sort of prototype secret. This white rabbit gets and starts tasting it, but malfunction creates a huge interdimensional tier, a sort of vortex which brings lots of stuff from the rabbit's world into the Mushroom Kingdom.
Spawny, he is a scary little thing in an unknown world. Whenever he feels in danger, he's able to produce, a ray of energy from his visor. And this energy merges things. He takes one element from the Nintendo, universe, one white rabbit, he fuses them together and creates a powerful enemy.
Bowser Jr. understands that the visor is very powerful, so he wants to enjoy the opportunity of using Spawny for his evil plans.
Due to the huge, evil energy created by this visor, they get even peskier and more mischievous. So some of them get evil and try to bring even more chaos and mayhem into the Mushroom Kingdom, fighting against the heroes, Mario and friends, and the good rabbits. Well, as good as, a rabbit can be.
In our game we have a huge pantheon of enemies.
And as for all the other aspects, since the beginning we decided to have something completely new, also for the visual, the mood, the gameplay of all the enemies. We started from the white rabbits and we decided to twist the rabbit with everything all around the enemies in the environment. To justify this kind of transformation, this kind of mutation.
To get rid of the enemy rabbit in our game, basically you have to defeat them. In that way you are basically removing all the chaotic effect, the bug effect that is controlling them, which is the reason why they are so hyperactive and crazy. By doing so, you basically are freeing them. They go back to the Peach Castle and they start to populate it. And the more rabbits you defeat, the more rabbits you save. The more is creating a second problem. And this problem is right in the sky. There is a huge patch of energy which is amplifying every time the player keeps going on and freeing the worlds from the enemy rabbits.
There's a story full of twists, full of surprises, red herrings, enemies and heroes. It's the story of the beginning of a beautiful friendship between the Mario friends and rabbits.
I decided to use Grant Kirkhope as a composer because when I was much younger, let's say, I was playing games such as Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, so for me Grant was an idol, was one of my best composers along with Koji Kondo at Nintendo, so I said one day I totally want to make a game with this composer, so I did.
I got an email on LinkedIn from Gianmarco from Ubisoft Milan saying that they liked the games I'd written in the past and would I be interested in writing some music for their game. I didn't even know what it was. And so it was very kind of elusive, he was kind of very vague. And so I said, of course, yeah, I like writing music. Like Davide Soliani here might say to me, it's a lava level. And that's it, and you kind of have got to think about how to write the music. You don't really, there's nothing to write to. You can see some artwork. So this game, there's probably like 2.5 hours of music and lots of themes. So it's been a really enjoyable process, but hard to try and continually write new theme after new theme.
So that is all you've got. You didn't hurt me a lot. I'll help you to recap between me and you. There's a gap. My spotlight. I have the art director's head for this. For this! Mario, you're such a boy, your blows just make me snore. You haven't hurt me a single bit. Prepare for my greatest hit.
In Prague today we've been recording the music for this game, and so it's the first time that everybody has heard the music played by a live orchestra. We have had about 80 musicians here.
I was trying to get a little bit of Nintendo and a little bit of me and a little bit of Ubisoft and kind of smash it all together. So people have familiar things that sounds a bit like me and a bit like Ubisoft and a bit like Nintendo. So I don't know if I managed that, but that was in my head, that's what I was trying to do. Video games usually are a little bit harder, I think, because you can't guarantee what the player's going to do. Like with a movie, it's very linear, so you can write a piece of music that kind of goes at the right point it's high, and the right point it's low, it's happy, it's sad, it's big, it's epic, it's, you know, all that. It's easy to do like that, it's very scheduled. But in a video game, you can't always guarantee. Some players are very good and do things very quick, some players are very bad and do things very slow. So you have to try and make sure you find a middle ground with the music to make sure it suits the good player and the bad player. And you get as a good a mood as possible.
Well, the music's been pretty varied. It always is in a video game. You get a lot of these fight scenes, so obviously that's very heavy, dramatic music with every playing. In this score, there are some lighter moments, kind of magical moments, and some not comedy, but more lighter, amusing moments. So there's a lot of light and shade in the score, which is nice. It's not just all the same stuff.
We've just finished our recording session for the about 45 minutes of the soundtrack. So I spent the whole day here putting the orchestra through its paces. I think they're a bit tired now because some of the music's quite big and quite epic. So there was scraping away and blowing really hard. But I think it's turned out very well. So yeah, it's been a great day in Prague. So it's always, for a composer, to be with an orchestra is super special. So I think it's one of those days that you really live for.
Good. Marvelous.